Everybody, get on in here. Huddle up, everybody.
Everybody get in.
Everybody, get on in here.
All right.
Grab an orange slice. Let's go. Let's get in here.
So hungry.
Do you have hard liquor?
Maybe that's what I meant. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge. Early in the day, Losers Lounge. But like a little afternoon. As Dev said on the pregame, we can still get to like half of our day after this.
Yeah, it's great.
Just plow through this one. We are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 2 out of 3 hit tonight, Dev?
Yeah, and it's our guy that didn't hit. Our big man.
Our big man. I could
didn't get his points.
We're here in the Toyota Losers Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Nuggets fall to the Celtics 110-103. Really good game. If you were a neutral basketball fan and you watched this one, you were probably entertained. If you were D-line, you probably were not as entertained.
I wasn't. Lakin Ball says Celtics from the league. You're not even first place in your own conference.
All right. I got Brennan Vogt in the house.
Yeah. Nothing like living out my nightmare live on the... Lakin Ball says, come outside. Bro, I've been live on the internet the entire game. I could not be more
scared.
outside.
We come here every day.
I'm about as outside as it gets.
We haven't seen you in like 4 months.
I take my licks today. It's one of those days.
I mentioned D-line. He's here.
That's right, guys. I'm oddly encouraged. I'm angry. I am not drunk. That maybe is the problem.
That might be the problem. We can remedy that.
How?
Superstar Dev.
These games have the makings for some bangers. Like, there should be so much celebration happening around the bar. You get a matinee.
They were
full
ready.
day to continue the party.
Oh, we were there. Right there.
And we just can't finish. Just cannot get through it.
A lot of stuff, though, to take away from this game. I really do think it's an interesting one. Not as discouraged as I was for that Lakers loss or even the Bucks one, to be honest with you. Denver did some bad stuff, though, we're going to obviously talk about. But there was some good stuff as well. Let me give a fast breakdown here. First note of the game. And this is a big one I want to put a pin in. Yoke was limping right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, Yoke's limping up and down. I don't think he was limping as bad as the game went on, but it's a note that he started this game with some kind of cramp or something. Second note really tells the story. They were not guarding Russell Westbrook again. Very similar to what the Lakers did. All teams kind of sag off of him, but what the Lakers and Celtics both did is they sag off of him by standing in the paint. Even when he's at the three-point line, it's not like they're giving him 5 feet of cushion. They're giving him 15 feet of cushion. And basically doubling the basket is what they're doing. So that was a big storyline. Celtics hitting their threes early. They were 6 of 10 to start. That's what they do. They opened up a lead. It was 32-20, the Celtics, after the first quarter. Second quarter, second chance points were killing Denver. Denver kept giving up long rebounds that led to threes off of second chance points. That's the number one way Boston will kill you is with second chance 3 points. Not the first one, but the second chance one. They're so good at it. Westbrook still being completely unguarded on the perimeter in the second quarter. Strawther played 14 straight minutes, was a minus 16. Very strange rotational choice for Michael Malone to play him 14 consecutive minutes. Christian Braun, though, started hitting. Do you guys remember this? Part of where the game started to turn. Christian Braun hit a turnaround jumper from like 20
he was like
feet.
our best offensive option.
Then an off the dribble pull up, like Hezzy pull up from the top of the key. He hit some big ones. 61-48 Celtics going into the half. The third quarter started with a Celtics 7-0 run immediately. Really rough, but then the Nuggets responded with the best run of the game of their own, 11-2, and they kept it going the whole quarter. Nuggets had 3 good looks from 3 to get close. I think it was 4 points, and they had 3 consecutive looks from 3 and missed all of them. That was tough. Then Julian Strawther had a non-contact injury. He left the game. Zeke Nnaji hit a 3 in the corner that kind of felt big, like gave the Nuggets life, and at the end of the third quarter, it was 83-77. Nuggets back in the game. Nuggets back in the game. Let's go to the fourth. Pickett hits a 3. He's in, and he hits a giant 3. Then Jamal Murray got a bucket. It's a 4-point game. D-Line on the very live show was saying, put Jokic in, put Jokic in, put Jokic in. It got to 4. By the time Jokic came back in, it was back up to 9. He was right. They should have got Jokic back in. Murray had some tough buckets, though, in the clutch. Jokic had a big 3 to cut it back to 4. Derek White made some big-time plays, though, in the clutch. Murray responded with a couple big ones. It was a 3-point game with 1 minute to go. Mike took a crazy long two early in the shot clock, and then there was this 50-50 ball that bounced in between Derek White and Michael Porter Jr. Derek White beat him to it by somehow four times as fast to the ball as he was, scores the basket, and it was over. Those were the plays, the crazy shot and the 50-50 balls that just Denver did not win when it mattered in this one, and the Nuggets fall 110 to 103. All right, let's go to our Red Hawk Roofing big takeaways. Superstar Dev, start us off.
My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway in this one is typically when we come into the losers lounge, the story of the game is about the defense and how much defense the Nuggets are not playing.
Yeah.
There's these huge scores that's getting put up. This was not a defensive lapse type of game where you blame it on the defense. This was an offensive issue, and it's not just an offensive issue. It's against these good teams, these contenders, the teams that have a chance at winning the championship. The blueprint is there. It's easy to guard the Nuggets. There's a focal point of trying to slow down Jokic and Jamal and allowing anyone else to beat you. And more often than not, especially right now, no one else can beat you. They're forcing, guys like Russell Westbrook to just take shot after shot. They're daring Christian Braun to take 3-point shots. They're daring anybody else to be able to get it going. And the Nuggets don't have that. So they need to try to figure out a way to allow the others to actually have something going for them, because right now it's frustrating watching this offense right now.
And it's like the good teams, the smart coaches, they're going to execute this game plan. I mean, this was not the exact same defensive coverage that the Lakers deployed, but some of the same principles. And Denver didn't really look that much better attacking, at least in the first half. And so Denver really has to go to the drawing board and kind of solve this one. I think it's a good first takeaway. D-Line, where are you at?
I have a multifaceted, very nuanced big takeaway.
Red Hawk Roofing, big takeaway.
Red Hawk Roofing, big takeaway. I was very encouraged by the overall output of the Denver Nuggets on this day. They obviously didn't do it. They didn't get over the top, but they showed great resilience, and they came back. I have such a problem with the way that Michael Malone approached this game today. I really lay this one at his feet. I don't at all understand why. It seemed very clear at the beginning that they were wanting Russell Westbrook to run the show. Like, he was on ball. Jamal was sagging way off. The first half, Jamal, I think, had 4 points.
Yeah.
No aggressiveness. I mean, it was just a disaster. And there were things where you're like, why? Why? What is this rotation? What are you doing? Why aren't you why? Live on the internet, like you said, it's like Malone just had a sheet he comes in here. He comes in. He's not watching the game and reacting to it. He's not sensing the motion, the emotion and when the moment is big and when the time to push the button and pull the lever is right. He was just not at all connected to what was going on. And there were just times where you're like, bro, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. Russell Westbrook was a disaster the first part of this game. An absolute abject disaster. They killed the Nuggets. That buried the Nuggets so early. Just relying on him, watching him jack up another 3 where you're like, yes, you're open. Why do you think you're open? Is there a reason you're open? It was very disgusting to watch.
To Westbrook's defense, I'm not sure, is that, I don't think Westbrook was out there I want to take a bunch of threes tonight. But by virtue of putting him out there, by virtue of the way they're playing, the result's going to be he has to take threes or barrel into a crowded paint. It's like he's in position to fail, and then he failed.
I don't know why they didn't start Zeke this game. It was an absolute failure, and they didn't learn from it. So It was disgusting. But at the same point in time, oddly, I feel good.
Yeah. Nuggets battled, man. They showed us some heart in that second half and execution, which is important. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Roofing, big thing.
It's a big takeaway, so it's got to be about one thing. The blame game.
I just made it about 6 things.
It's always pieces. No, I'm just saying, it's always pieces, right? But for me, it's the 2 Michaels, and I agree with the starting lineup today. I wonder, they talked about trying to do something different in an early matinee game. I wonder if it was, Russell Westbrook's a dog. He's going to go out there and play hard, so maybe he'll have the energy. But that did not even come close to overcoming the impact it had on the geometry of the court. You wonder how this game could have looked if the first 7 minutes wasn't Russ trying to go jumper for jumper with the Celtics. But that brings me to the other Michael, and that's Michael Porter Jr. And I'm the first to point out when he has a good game. I'm the first to point out all the positive things he brings to this team. He has to be better in these matchups. He just has to. We've said it time and time again. It's the box left for him to check. I think people do overlook, averaging almost 19 points per game on 50-40 as a third option is good, man.
Yeah.
Spacing the floor is good. Mike helps this team. But in these games, he hasn't been good enough in his career. He gets routinely outplayed by Derek White in this spot, and it just can't happen. And so, look, I will say, you can't take Mike out of the starting lineup. If you were worried about geometry of the court, that thing will collapse like a house of cards. He's got to be out there, but he can't play tentatively, and he can't play so confused. The second half of that, I'm not going to hold my breath. He's probably going to be confused, but he can't be tentative. And I just think
he's got to find some dog in him.
He's got to find
small little chihuahua.
He's got to find some dog, man, and just he's got to be better in these games, or they're not going to win them. The funny thing is, if he is, they can win, man. They can beat but we've said this so many times about Mike, and I'm the biggest Mike defender in the world, but this is a very, very valid criticism of Mike right now. He's got to be with it in these games, and I think if he was with it in this game, maybe they win. It's not about one thing, but if I'm going to be so quick to point out Mike's masterclasses, I got to call out the disasters too, and this was one.
It's a good one for sure. We're going to get into him a lot because there's a lot there. My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway, I'm going to start with where D-Line started, which is the starting lineup when Russ is out there. Russ has this, Jamal Murray has an alpha personality. Russell has, more of an alpha personality. Yeah. And then when you start them together, it's almost like the Russ show, not the Jamal show. That being said, it's nice when you get clarity about what's expected. I think that this road trip and this post-All-Star period of the schedule has made it clear what everyone on this roster and staff has to do. And for Jamal Murray, it's that you are both the player of the first half and the second half. Your whole career has been a tale of those two guys. Which one are you? The Nuggets can't win anything with the first half version, even for a half against good teams. He's so freaking good. This is the problem with Jamal. This is what's so frustrating about him. He was better than Tatum in the second half, better than Jaylen Brown. He looked like a guy that should be an all-star, all of these things. But in the first half, he couldn't find his footing, wasn't beating anybody to the rim, wasn't making plays or making shots or any of this stuff. And when you watch him long enough like we have, you can see that he moves different when he's feeling it, when he just has the intensity. And I'm not saying feeling it as in every shot's going in. I'm saying he's feeling the competitiveness of the game. Mm-hmm. In the first half, it didn't look like he was feeling it. And I do think the Russell Westbrook factor plays a part in it. But guess what? This is your team. This isn't Russ's team. It's your team. You have to go out there and perform at that level. He finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. That's a great game. And it really came in one half. Imagine what he would have done with two halves of that. And imagine where the Nuggets would have done. And imagine where the Nuggets would be. Everybody there, he's not the only one, and he played great tonight, so this is not on him. But my point is, the Nuggets should know exactly what their path is right now to victory. Should they be good enough to do that? They know what they have to do. Jamal Murray has 24 games left in the season. He has to be good for 4 quarters of 24 games.
I know.
Full stop.
The Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde act, it really does have to stop. In the first half, he didn't look at the rim, not even trying to score, not being active in the game at all. And for whatever reason, it takes a moment in the game for him to finally click and be like, okay, I'm going to try to score. I'm going to try to get the offense going. And they were already on the other end of the 8 ball by the time that he woke up. And it's like now you're having to make up for all the lost time when you wasn't there. And that's been the story of his career. It's been the story of the season. He starts out very, very slow. Everybody else is trying to find a way to keep their head above water. And then he comes in and he becomes like the hero or the look. I do think this was a very good game from him offensively when you think about the second half.
Even defensively, I thought against Jaylen Brown in that fourth quarter, I thought he was good.
They attacked Jamal in so many ways. They score on him so often. There was a couple of bunnies that Jaylen Brown missed, but he gives up the screen so much where he's in a mismatch, where he's not even guarding the guy he's supposed to. They put him in so many.
They attack him.
Yeah, it's ISOs. It's not even like we're gonna get a pick and roll and just like have him thinking. It's just like he's not strong enough, he's not big enough, but we're gonna keep putting a big guy on him. There's a lot of times that I know people are just sitting at home and they're like, how is he on Horford? How is he on LeBron? How is he on these guys that he has no business with? And it's because he's okay, I could do it. Yeah. We don't want you to do it. We want you to show up. We want you to play the entire game. So I do understand where the frustration comes with Jamal. And I don't want to just stick on him because I do think that he salvaged a rough night and gave them a chance to win this game. But
he did.
If he plays how he played in the second half throughout the entire game, there's no chance. That's what makes them a contender. That's how you become a team that really could win a championship. We need that Jamal often.
All right, we got to take a break, though. We're at our limit here. We'll take a break. More to say on the other side. We got a lot of things to break down.
How about Lucy, fellas? 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free, though. Lucy Breakers are nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. Set yourself up now with a subscription and have Lucy delivered straight to your door. Have you guys tried? Are you guys Lucy fellas? Have you guys
Lucy
ever tried
Goosies.
them? Do you guys have a flavor you've tried? I have not tried Lucy yet, so I'm not going to sit here and recommend a flavor. But I am going to recommend Lucy because I know so many of my friends enjoy it. Level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.com/DNVR and use promo code DNVR to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co. I'm sorry, not .com. It's lucy.co/DNVR. Use code DNVR to get 25% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age and every order is age verified. Warning, this product does contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, which is why we're going to transition nicely to UC Health. Shout out UC Health wants you to be just taking care of health from a holistic perspective. And right now they are selling that. Is today the on the glass game for? Never mind. Excuse me. It doesn't matter. Ignore me.
You're the only one talking.
I'm talking to myself. DNVR Nuggets is brought to you by UC Health, the official health care partner of the Denver Nuggets. Health is a holistic thing. It can be about sleep. It can be about drinking enough water. It can be about watching the Denver Nuggets in the right
Walking
mindset.
to work, huh?
Walking to work. Hey, all jokes aside, that's made a huge difference in my life. Walking is something that we probably should all do every day. And if you live close to work, consider just building that into your daily routine, man. It's gone a long way for me. And many of the great thinkers of all time, not me included, have argued that there's nothing better than going for a walk to free your mind and to just start feeling better. So learn more about living like there is a tomorrow. Go to uchealth.org for more info. UC Health, live extraordinary.
All right, back here, segment 2. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe. You'll enjoy it. I promise you. Lots of good content up on the channel.
I mean, not today's show.
Yeah, not today's show. You're not going to enjoy.
Well,
I mean, come
this
on.
show's garbage.
Yeah. And throw us a like. Let's talk about Christian Braun real quick. 24 points for CB, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, a block, 10 of 22. Dev, this game is so interesting to break down from him because he did a lot of incredible things, and yet my lasting impression is going to be that 2 for 8 from the three-point line. One of those came late. He does so many things well, but the shooting really is going to be half of his playoff strategy. Teams left him open the same way they left Russell Westbrook open in this one, and he really didn't deliver in that one way. In every other way, he did.
Yeah, I'm encouraged by his game, though, because I like the fact that he shot through it. He tried to find different ways to stay aggressive, which you don't see when it's one of these games that you like, hey, we're going to dare you to shoot. Most of the time, guys don't shoot it. They don't try to get aggressive in that way. And I know that opposing teams are saying, make Christian Braun shoot. He was shooting mid-range. He's shooting the 3 ball. You know, a lot of them didn't fall, but he did make a couple where they were like, okay, we have to play him in different ways. So, like, you look at this game and you say, yeah, he did not make a lot of shots. But if I'm an opposing team, I'm like, okay, but he's aggressive. He wants to shoot it. Maybe that's not going to work every single time. Because you just don't want him to go away from, like, who he truly is. He still got out in transition. I think that he played great defense in this game. Like, I really do think that he showed up in this game and why they had a chance on the defensive side of the ball. But, like, he's a competitor. I really love the fact that he competes no matter who it is that's out there, no matter if his shot's falling or not. I'm encouraged by this game from him.
But what about the three-point shooting, D-line? Because to me, I'm encouraged. Again, gets an A+, I think, overall from me. But it is in the playoffs. You just see if they're not going to guard Russ or CB. Whenever those two guys are on the court together, how do you score? You got to make your threes, and he just didn't make them tonight.
Well, to me, this is more on Russ than it is CB. Like,
they guarded them the same, though.
I know, but like
it's 2 of them instead of 1.
Yes, there's 2 of them. Like, I can't Like, CB played great. He had great intensity. You love to see that. Like, just to me, this game is all on the decision to start Russell Westbrook. Like, that's the whole thing. It took the aggressiveness out of Jamal. It put everybody else in a bad position. You just can't do it again. It's like, and if you do it, it has to be Russell Westbrook for Christian Braun. Like, you can't. Those three cannot play. They can't. But Christian Braun has been the most consistent Nugget, even more so than Jokic, honestly, over the past 5, 6, 7 games. Like, he's the one that literally shows up every time. Like, Jokic was hobbled in this game, so it's hard to get mad at him. But this should have been a game that Jokic took over. We just weren't able to make them pay for any of the transgressions that the Celtics were, They didn't play a perfect game, and we never punished them for it. It's bothersome, but you a game like this, you look at, you're like, okay, I can see it. You watch that second half, you're like, the Nuggets, that looks like the Nuggets.
Yeah.
That looks like, I see it. If we can get that, and it still exists, and we can figure out how to actually make it come to light when we need it, you feel good. But a game like this is just so frustrating because they were just behind the 8 ball immediately, and the whole game was trying to play catch up, and it just took Herculean efforts from guys.
Christian Braun played 47 minutes in this game.
That's the craziest stat of all the stats.
Because he had to be out there. Malone looked at that and said, I have to. And he was a -2 in that. They lost by 7. So while he was out there, things were going well the entire time. 47 minutes is a lot of minutes, especially against Boston. They be blowing teams out. They give so many mismatches.
At home.
He's a primary defender against either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Made them both work, hard, especially Tatum. He was working extremely hard, did not have a monster game, and it's because of Tatum stepping into this one. Christian Braun stepping into this one. So I really do think that Christian Braun was damn good in this game.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, I love that Christian Braun shot 8 threes too. They left Christian Braun open, and I
feel fine with that. Yeah,
and but his entire approach though, he was up for it.
Yeah,
I know he didn't knock all of them down, but
the shooting is half the battle.
Confidence, man. You just got to take. And I thought 5 minutes into that game, he just decided, look, I'm going to be open. I have to take these. I like that he took them. I like how he played. It's less about picking apart how guys played individually and more about just as we see the way teams are guarding Denver, Russ and CB on the floor at the same time, or even Aaron Gordon, who's shooting well, but teams will make him do it in the playoffs. There are lineup combinations that just, you go, well, why wasn't Jokic more aggressive? You'll see it. If you watch it back, you'll see. It's the way they're guarding him. So those conversations matter, but I love the way Braun attacked it today, man. And I thought he knew what his job was, and he wasn't shy.
He found a way to make an impact even without the shots. But let's swap Russell Westbrook with Aaron Gordon right now because he would be the guy who starts. If you told me that CB and Aaron Gordon in a playoff game shot 4 of 16, if I just said they shot 4 of 16 from 3, you'd be like, they probably lost. Nuggets probably lost. It is much because of the 16 as the 4, because you're like, well, if they took 16 threes combined, they were wide open. These were wide open ones, and to only go 2 of 8 for both guys, that's a killer. But so CB, as much as I love the game, I do think it reminds us that in the playoffs, half of his value is going to be whether or not he hits that kick out when the team sags off of him. And if he hits a couple of them, Denver's going to roll. Yeah. And if he doesn't, Denver's going to lose.
I mean, the Nuggets have, they are in the precarious position this year to have very little room for error. They don't have, they have depth sort of, but they don't have depth that can really punch back. They have depth that you can maybe kind of tread water, but they need to have their guys in place. If they have their guys in place, you're like, okay, this makes sense. But if it gets thrown off, guys don't know how to play any other role but the role they've been assigned.
Let's talk about Jokic because I think we have a disagreement on the panel. I actually don't mind at all how he played tonight. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 9 of 15 shooting, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. I know the onus is hey, go and attack, be even more aggressive. There might have been a time or two, maybe a time or two that I felt like he could have, but I don't think he was passive. I think that these teams, the Lakers and the Celtics, have both put in position this defense where Denver has to come up with counters. He's making the right reads. He had 9 assists. He's finding guys wide open. He honestly could have had 20 assists tonight if guys made not just semi-open shots, wide open threes. I do think in a playoffs, he's probably going to have to force the issue a little bit more.
Yes.
But look, he played 39 minutes and was a net neutral. He was a 0 in this game. So to me, I look at it and I go, I think Jokic is looking at the problem and seeing what the right answer is, and right now the guys aren't fulfilling that. I think he can be more aggressive, but I'm just not mad about him not taking more than 15 shots tonight, given that they were double and triple teaming him from the get-go.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about helping the other four guys figure out what to do in this situation. Because the funny thing is, Jokic, like even in that, I know what to do is but just getting them comfortable. Because in that Bucks game, right, like the plan was anyone but Jokic, and he was still insanely efficient scorer.
Yeah.
And like I think in the postseason, Jokic will, in terms of aggression, go from up a gear for sure, but. Part of it was about, look, this is how they're guarding us. We have to be ready for this. Yeah. You guys got to know, like, I am going to pass you the ball sometimes in this spot. You got to be ready to hit the shot.
But here's my big takeaway, Dev, actually, on this point. Because, look, CB, AG, Russell Westbrook, those guys are going to be hot or cold, but they need to make shots in big moments. If on the watch-along, I hopped on in the second quarter, and I said, I'm actually more upset with Jamal. Because when you're overloading on Jokic that much, your other stars should have it easier and have opportunities. And in the second half, that's exactly what happened. Jamal found it, and the Nuggets won the second half. So to me, I actually look at Jokic's aggressiveness and say that's not the problem. The problem is your co-star needs to see how the floor is shifted and now become a star. And he did finally in the second half, but not in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's about reading the game. And in this one, I thought this was a pretty good game from Jokic as well. Because one, he came into the game very banged up.
Yeah.
Like the first half, I was like, I don't know if he's going to come back out after half. He couldn't get up the court. And he's not grabbing at anything. He does not complain about it. He's just he's the Terminator out there.
Yeah.
Just like going through everything. And then he played through it where he was like, okay, I'm okay. So it seemed to be an ankle injury. But he was still making reads the entire time, finding guys wide open, forcing guys wide open in this game.
Where Westbrook that he fumbled.
Oh, that pass was insane. But he even found ways that you can't be frustrated with when they were sending a double team or sending different ways where he's like, I'm going to set a high screen to just like get me open at a higher spot or to get like the mismatch off of me right now, so like the double team can't come as fast, and then I'm going to have other people going. But to go to your point when it comes to Jamal, the Celtics did just that. And it was also part of coaching. They put Tatum at the top where it's like, okay, we can't double team him unless we're going to get a running start at it. But we're going to empower everyone else around him to be able to score, to be able to go off the dribble. Peyton Pritchard is going off the dribble and then finding other guys. Now he has a skip to a Braun in the corner or Tatum at the top as a reset, but now there's not double teams. The Nuggets have to find ways to score in different ways, and they're not getting that right now. And they do need that, like the second running mate to be able to get going and be aggressive both ways so you can open up your offense.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, Jokic did not have a bad game. Jokic rarely has a bad game. Jokic was injured, so you can't really you can't blame Jokic, but if the Nuggets are going to beat the Celtics, it's because Jokic is going to go off. Like, if it's as simple to just double Jokic and that just means that you're going to beat the Nuggets, like, we're cooked. That's the end of it. Like, Jokic has to be able to fight through and be the best player in the world in a game like this, but you're not mad at him because he was clearly hurt, like clearly hobbling. So that obviously then you're like, okay, Jamal, we need you to step up. And it's like, yes. But we're not going anywhere if Nikola Jokic is not Nikola Jokic. That's just
I think Jokic kind of knows that they're not going anywhere with what you're talking about. That, okay, I'm going to barrel through here and just try to get it. Like, we have to establish an identity.
We got him to a title. I thought that was pretty
good. I thought
Jamal
Murray had a 30-point triple-double in the finals.
That was one game.
I thought Jamal Murray was great in the Lakers series. I thought he was great in the Suns series.
Oh, you're saying that Jokic can be passive and not score and the Nuggets are going to reach their zenith?
I'm saying I think he realized that the team has to figure out how to break this defense. That's not just him doing this every single night.
If they're going to win this game, it's because Jokic is going to go in early. If he sees the rest of the team,
I thought Jokic was good tonight. Here's my other take on Jokic tonight, because he was very hobbled, and I think it is meaningful that he played through it.
I agree.
I'm not saying that he was trying to call anyone out but I do think there's a little message sending of, I'm hurt. I'm not injured, but I am hurt.
Yes.
And right now, everybody has to play unless you're injured. If you're not injured, you have to play. And I'm not trying to say he's saying anything about Jamal or about AG, but Jamal's knee soreness, like this or that. Like, are you hurt, or can you give us something out there? Because he was clearly having a hard time walking out there, and it's like, I'm just going to power through, because if I go out, we're not winning this game. And to me, I think it's a good message. Like, it's a good thing that he's saying, guys, everybody has to push themselves to their limits here, because that's how thin the margin of error is for our flawed team this year. Let's take another break. On the other side, a lot more players to get to, including Julian Strawther's 14 straight minutes and then injury. We'll get to that on the other side.
This is what I was talking about. The Breck Brew Ice Deck giveaway. And no, it's not today. It's on March 29th, so there's still plenty of time. No vote. No.
The ad read says no vote.
No UCL. No vote. Talking about Breckenridge Brewery, and they're trying to hook you up with a really awesome ice deck giveaway here. It's March 29th versus St. Louis. Still got time. Complimentary food and drink. You're up on the glass. Pretty neat. Dang. Best way to watch hockey. Go to breckbrew.com. Is it a deck? Am I just making stuff up? Yeah, I am. Go to breckbrew.com/ice deck to enter 2 VIP tickets. Oh, they are on the glass. Don't listen to me. Wait, now listen to me. Listen to me while I read that these 2 tickets are on the glass. So if you've always wanted to go see a hockey game up close, you can get it done by going to breckbrew.com/ice deck to enter. And while you're there, check out all the great Breck brews they have. They've got a Breck brew for just about every occasion, man. The Avalanche Amber Ale, the Mile High City, the Broncos Country Pale Ale, the Fun Slinger, the Good Company Hard Seltzers. Check out the beer locator at thatbreckbrew.com. You'll find a brew near you. Let's stick with Breckenridge, Kale, but let's switch it over to the dispensary, the world's highest dispensary. I actually got up. Distillery. That's just anyone could have made that.
Dude, we got first half Westbrook. Vogt
anyone could have made that mistake.
Man, come on!
It's not like that's a muscle memory mistake. I actually did go to the Breckenridge Distillery, the world's highest distillery, and it was awesome. They gave me a great tasting of some really, really, really tasty, really good bourbon. I enjoyed the staff. Really cool looking place as well. So go ahead and check it out. It's more than their award-winning spirits. They offer an immersive guest experience. Use code DNVR at checkout for free shipping on all orders over $99. Learn more at BreckenridgeDistillery.com.
Let's go.
This was a good game, man. This was good hoops.
I know, dude. Got the juices flowing.
I know. It got conversation. There's different perspectives. I like it, man. Let's talk real quick about Julian Strawther, because, again, Malone played him that weird rotation where he just left him in there. Dude. He was a minus 18 tonight in 14 minutes, and it felt like it. This is a team that finds their mark. It was Jamal and it was Nikola in the fourth quarter, which is no surprise in the playoffs. That's who guys are going to go after. But Julian's a different level. Like, they hunt Julian, and he is so easy to score on. And then on the offensive end, he gives you 4 points in those 14 minutes. Far from worth it. But before I pile on him too much, Vogt, he did go down with what looked like a non-contact injury. I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell if he's grabbing it for his knee, his calf, his hamstring. I don't know. But before we get to the injury portion of this is another reminder, just like the Lakers one was, of the levels of this. And the better the team you play, especially the better one-on-one scores you have, the more you look at it and go, can he play at this level against that type of talent? Right now, I'm not saying overall long term. I'm saying right now.
No, right now he can't, which is why they're playing him.
Well,
to be fair,
to this point, yeah.
That is why they're playing him to this point. They have been trying to get him ready. There's a question lingering here, I think, and I'll ask it for you. Have we reached a breaking point of, is Jalen Pickett a better option? And, it's not like you're going to some old veteran there. So it's not a huge...
Kind of plays like one, though.
He does, but I'm just saying as far as a departure from development, right? Right. Yeah, I think we're kind of there about that being a really interesting conversation. I've appreciated that they've tried with Julian. They really have. And look, we've given this organization, some guff for not trying hard enough with some young players. They're trying, but no, I'm not confident in Julian's ability to stay on the floor right now in this series.
Is it a coincidence, Dev? The Lakers game, 4 fouls in 4 minutes. This game, minus 18 in 14 minutes. Like, is it a coincidence?
I don't think it's a coincidence, but I also think that it goes to the way that the Nuggets are structured right now. And I think that comes into like having to play Russell Westbrook with the starters because of the injuries, not having Peyton Watson available. Like, I just think that in these type of games, Julian Strawther, he's not ready defensively. So you're putting him in spots where he has to try to carry the offense because he doesn't have, a running mate in Russell Westbrook to be able to take care of the ball and to get the offense flowing, get him off the ball. So now he's trying to score. You also don't have a Peyton Watson defensively to like try to help him out, or to be that like defensive crutch that hides those deficiencies. So right now, I think that Strawther is just out there drowning the entire time that he's out there because he can't create for himself. And if he does create, it's very forced shots. And then he's so bad defensively where the other team is just isoing him the entire time with their star player. That was a lot of Tatum on Strawther. That's a lot of Jaylen Brown on Strawther because that's on Strawther because that's what you're supposed to do in a stagger. And he's just not as physical because they're going at him the entire time. So I do think that it's like a recipe for disaster. And I'm not knocking a Russell Westbrook for being with that starting unit, but I do think that Strawther needs to get plays ran for him and guys to be able to set him up. And if Russell's starting, that means Jamal's trying to score with the second unit. They don't have a guy they go to because Jalen Pickett's not playing. So I really do. I think that it's set up for Strawther to look bad, and he does.
he's answering the bell.
He answered the bell.
He answered the bell of looking awful.
But if he's out, I mean, again, we hope the guy's not injured. But if he leaves the rotation for any reason, first of all, I expect Peyton Watson to be back when the Nuggets return to play on Wednesday. I think that's my expectation. We'll probably get a report in the next 48 hours. To me, it's an automatic slot him into even though it's no shooting, and I know Malone's going to be panicked about shooting, but you're not getting scoring from him anyway.
Exactly.
So.
No, you can't say that. Like, we got to have him out there for the shooting. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like, for what? Like, to brick it harder than anyone has ever seen. He's in a bad way. It's been a bad stretch for Julian Strawther. I'm not out on him as a player. I still think he's like a really talented guy and can find his way. It's just as the intensity is starting to ratchet up, his deficiencies are getting louder and louder. And of course, you need P-Watt. Like, you need defense out there. You just need you need Aaron Gordon. The Nuggets were not in their the Nuggets were not the optimal Nuggets today as far as personnel is concerned, and it exposed, in my view, it exposed Michael Malone. He did not react very well. He put Strawther in a bad position. He put Westbrook in a bad position. He put guys in bad spots, and they, like you said, they responded in kind. they did exactly what they were asked to do, which is look awful. But all the same, again, we very much hope that the man's not hurt because he has shown flashes of brilliance this season. It's just we haven't seen it lately.
But this late in the season, though, we have seen, even last year, we've seen a guy go out, and let's say he's out for 10 days. It's so late in the season that it might be like 10 days, and now you're back. It's like, yeah, but we've moved on.
What's even scarier is the Nuggets have been banged up already.
Yeah.
So him going out maybe forces a guy to come back sooner than they're supposed to. Like, you don't have enough active bodies right now. And then also you take into the factor of guys that are in the rotation or like on the cuff of rotation, they all end up getting hurt at around the same time where you go into the playoffs and you go, I can't play him or I can't trust him. We've seen it in a Zeke Nnaji before, a Vlatko. You've seen it at different times, and now Julian Strawther is like the same thing that's going on with the other people, and they already were on the cusp. Yeah. So like right now he falls out of the rotation where he was already possibly not in it. So like that's rough. You do want him to be available and okay next game because you don't wish injury on anyone. But the Nuggets are already banged up, and this is another guy that you're taking down.
Pickett had that big three. My favorite play of him, though, today was the box out where he came from across the court to box out a Celtics player. Just a perfect break on the ball to save a possession that, in my mind, would have absolutely turned into a second-chance three-pointer somehow or some way if the Celtics would have got that. But you know what actually excites me, Vogt? Zeke Nnaji plays so hard. Of all the things you can say about him, that guy goes hard. You know what? Like
this season is hilarious.
Zeke Nnaji plays hard. Peyton Watson, for whatever you say about him, plays hard. Yeah. Russell Westbrook, for whatever you say about him, plays hard. I kind of like the idea of your bench having a personality that is, you know what? These three guys, they're just going to be playing at 11. They'll make a lot of mistakes. They'll miss a lot of shots. But we have three guys that are going to be so into you that you're going to be happy when they check back out of the game.
I feel like that's one thing that Zeke has just brought to this team no matter where they've spot started off the bench since they've gone to him. He plays harder than most guys on the team. Yeah. He's playing like a guy who's playing for his last chance in Denver.
Yep.
And it's just gone such a long way, man, for a team that doesn't always play that hard. And Mike, who's never going to make those hustle plays because of his body, he's just never going to, right? So, and when he's a guy who's not hitting his shots, it really stands out how he can't and doesn't make those plays. Guys like Zeke are playing their tail off, and it goes a long way. I would have loved to see how this game went if he had started, man. Honestly,
just that alternate universe.
It's that simple.
It is that simple.
I mean, I just would have liked to see it.
They got smoked in the first quarter.
I love that Zeke was able to go, man. It seems like every time he is ready to take off, he blows a tire on the runway or something, and that left ankle sprain. And he played today and played hard, and I thought played fairly well. So, I mean, at this point, like you gotta explain to me why they shouldn't play Zeke. You know?
Yeah. Do you like my idea though? Zeke, P. Watt, Russ? Like, there's not a lot of spacing, although Zeke did make his 1-3 tonight. But it is a lot of defense, man, and a lot of energy.
I mean, no one's going to be against that right now because the Nuggets bench right now have no identity. There's not a go-to scorer.
Yeah.
They don't have. I mean, Denver needs to play some type of defense. But also, when you look at these other teams in the league, they have something that they go to. The Celtics, they just shoot the hell out of the three ball. They have guys on the bench unit that are just like, hey, we're going to rotate it enough to shoot the three ball and buy time until the starters get out there. If that's going to be what you have as three hard-playing players the entire time that they're out there, that's going to be an advantage for Denver. You're going to have some defense. You're not going to score much, but that's okay. You're going to be able to get that with your starters.
Unless you get stops and get in transition, because those guys can't
get out and run. But that would make it easy. I think it would make it easier on Malone to say, hey, we need to get some energy into this game. We need to inspire guys, put our team out there to just get out there and get to running and playing hard so that the starters can come in and get it. I would love for that to happen.
Yeah. Another thing we're going to get in the pissing and moaning part of the show now.
We haven't started?
We haven't gotten to that yet.
My God, dude. My diaper's soiled already.
Jokic had 0 free throws tonight.
That was
you want to know where his shots came from? In the paint, -3 of them. He had 1 on the elbow, too, technically not in the paint. So 4 of his shots not in there. Living in the paint, bleeding profuse. Yes, by the way, his best scar of the year, I think, came today.
It was definitely a big bleeder.
I think it's the best one. It's
Top
a straight line all the way across his arm, and just 0 free throws to get in the entire game. We're not surprised. We've seen this for years. I honestly think it's not about officiating being biased against him. This league is so geared towards guys bumping you at the foul line and falling sideways and getting 2 fouls. And you could be in the paint ripping a guy's arms to shreds. It's like, that's basketball, though. It's so lame.
Yeah,
this is why it's a 3-point league. It has nothing to do with anything else other than contact inside is like MMA. Contact outside is like ballet dancing.
If you're going to the rim and you yell or you fall over, you're getting that call. Every guard going to the rim gets the call. We know what Embiid is doing,
Sitting
not to pile on right now. Got other bigs that are getting the calls. We know what they were doing. It is really, really frustrating. I do think we are looking at just an extraordinary case of thin skin, like literally thin skin. Like, I don't know, how does this not happen to every center in the league? Why does this happen so badly to Jokic?
I think Jokic's the most physical big in the NBA, though.
That's part of it.
But I think he's the most physical big and requires the most physicality.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt, man, that you see the touch fouls that are called on perimeter guys, and you see the calls that don't go to Jokic.
I just can't buy a guy bleeding that much from his arms. Be like, it's just
he's getting fouled. He's getting fouled. But he does clearly
0 fouls.
He does clearly have some thin skin.
0 fouls.
But he was getting fouled for sure.
Just insane to me. All right, I wanted to piss and moan a little bit there. Anybody else want to pile in?
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by everything that we saw today. There was just it's an indictment on the NBA. Pox on your house, Adam Silver. It's like, yes, there was so much where you look at this, you're like, why is the worst style of play being rewarded? Like, what do we like? What do we want to watch here?
If we step back just a little bit now, Dev, they go 2-3 on this road trip, or 2-3 in their last 5. They get killed by the Lakers. Actually, we'll say 3-3 since the All-Star break, just to make it, let's be fair. They get the win against Charlotte. They get absolutely pantsed by the Lakers. They win against Indiana in what's a pretty good win. They lose in Milwaukee in a spiritless effort. Big win against a streaking Detroit team, and then a loss. I feel like it's 2 bad losses, 2 good wins, and then 1 not good win and 1 not bad loss. That makes sense. How do we feel out of the All-Star break 3-3?
I would feel much better if they beat one more of the teams.
Yeah.
You know, like if you beat a Boston, if you beat a Lakers, I just feel like we would be feeling a lot more. Like even if you shuffled it around. I mean, I know it sounds wild to say, but like if you lose to the Hornets and beat Boston, you care about the Boston win a lot more because you're like, you just didn't play up for that team. But the fact that you can't find a way to beat the good teams, that's where you're just like, I don't feel that good about it. I really do think that Pistons win was bigger than expected. It's just that the Pistons they've been so bad.
Yeah.
But this year was a good year. It was the second night of a back-to-back against a soaring team that were beating good teams. But I just think that a Lakers win does a lot more for your morale. A Boston win does a lot more for your morale. You need to get a couple of wins before we head into the playoffs that you can hang your hat on.
Yeah.
I'm neutral. I'm very neutral.
How where are you at, D-Line?
I don't know, man.
You don't know? I'll tell you where you're at as an outside observer, observing your emotions. I think you want to believe and they're not quite believing.
Of course. All I want to do in my life is believe in this stupid Nuggets team. They take all of my time, all of my free time, all of my thought, all of my professional effort. Yes, I want to believe in this team. They're giving me reasons where I can be like, that's dope. I love that. Game like today, you're like, ugh, come on, man. There's like so many things you look at. You're like, why? Like, just play them straight up. Like, don't do things where you can look at and be like, that's obviously why you lost. Like, I just want to, if they lose a game like this, it's like, well, better team won. What are you going to do? Yeah. But you look at, you're like, that was so fucking stupid. Like, why? Why? I'm so angry. So I want to see Jokic. Like, I want the Boston Celtics to come out of a game like that and be like, you can't, like, what are we supposed to do against Jokic? It's not fair. It's just not fair. But, you know, the circumstances were greater than that. Of course, I would never blame Nikola Jokic for any of our failings. But all the same, like, I need this team to show me that they care about this as much as I care about this.
I think they did tonight in the second half. And that's why I'm a little on an upswing with it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, they clearly don't. There's three teams in a top tier that seem to have everything they need, and the Nuggets are not one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I do think they're squarely in that next tier. Like they've shown us enough that, you know, as a fan and analyst, there's no point in just going, well, they're not going to win. Maybe not, guys. Probably not even at this point. They're good enough that I want to watch it. I want to see. Want to see how they handle these matchups. Want to see how far they can go. You know, I don't think they're much worse than the fifth best team in the league. But we just need more wins against the best teams to make us feel like they're one of the four. And, you know, right now they're not. And they have Jokic, so you just go maybe. But it's still maybe. And, you know, I think they're comfortably better than everyone thought they were at the start of the year, for sure. I understand. They need signature wins. And this second half was encouraging, but I just wish we were talking about a win, not a moral victory.
I am neutral. Like, I have not moved up or down. I will say Jamal Murray playing the way he has through stretches of this run has me very encouraged. Christian Braun playing well. Like, the guys in the foxhole right now are Jokic, Christian Braun, Murray sometimes, but increase it like more frequently as the year goes on, which is really exciting. Zeke Nnaji somehow is in the foxhole. You look over, you're like, Zeke, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm in the foxhole now.
We're like, I didn't even think you were in the war.
I didn't even think you were here. Jalen Pickett's like peeking around the corner, seeing if there's any room. So I'm kind of encouraged. The Nuggets did pick up two of their best wins of the season on this trip in Detroit and Indiana. I'm not saying those are A+ wins, but they don't have a lot of A- wins, and those are A- wins. So I do feel a little momentum building. I'll tell you this. They've got two very winnable games. Sacramento on Wednesday, coming off of a lot of rest. You got Phoenix, who is a dumpster fire, and then you go right back into the war. So to me, these next two games represent another chapter for Denver to kind of reset and really get things going. Lastly, before we get to Super Chats, Kale, pull up this new image. I got to say, as much as I do agree there's something to Yoke bleeds a little bit easier or whatever.
He's definitely getting fouled.
But what I love is you could see Yoke's whole career right here. You know it? Like, you can see it all. You guys remember that circle one? You guys remember that?
He's going to have so many scars to explain to his kids as they get older.
What is this? The T-shirt that you made? Which one is it off of?
Not Since Wilt.
Not Since Wilt. Like that one is. I think that's the number 1 all-time scar. I think this is the number 3. Pull it back up, Kale, real quick. I'm going to tell you.
Well, we don't know about the scar, but the blood. Yeah.
It's like rings on a tree where you can see how old it is. The circle one is the second best one. The Not Since Wilt original gash. That's the first best one. This is the third best scar, I think.
Well, there's the one there that's clearly a crater that somebody dug in.
That's the second best one.
That's the top one? Okay, well.
No, that's the second best one.
But, I mean, you're not even looking at the other arm. That's the tough part here. So, like,
actually true.
There's a lot more.
Compare the other arm.
But, you know, something happens once you start getting really scarred up. You start to bleed more easily. The great Nick, what's his name?
Nick.
Or the MMA fighter that lost to Conor McGregor, or that beat Conor McGregor. Yeah, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz pointed out like the more scar tissue that builds up in his face, the more.
Oh, and that's why he bleeds so easy. Yeah, I like this.
An actual
I've always said he's the Nate Diaz of the NBA, man.
He is, yeah.
You can't knock him out. He just keeps going.
I don't know. I'm with Vogt. There's something about his skin that's allowing this, because he's not the only player in the NBA that is down there on the block fighting.
I'm telling you, he requires this though the most. Most guys like are trying to do this or don't touch him. He's just constantly leaning on you and this and that. And you have to like hold on for your life.
There's a mix here going on for sure.
I think it's a mix for sure.
Yeah, but there's also like not tigers in this league. There's not.
Well, there's tigers as far as uncut nails are concerned.
Just slicing him every single time.
I know, like WWE guys with blades in their
wristbands. There's something else that's off there. Because like, how is this happening? Where he's just not getting the calls. He's not. I feel like he should put on sleeves at this point. Like, keep doing that.
No, don't you know he doesn't do it because he likes when the refs have to acknowledge that he's bleeding.
Yeah. It really worked out well for me.
Yeah, zero free throw attempts. Hasn't been working.
He's just literally just bleeding for no good reason.
It is human nature, though. If you're a referee and one guy is bleeding profusely from his arms, you probably don't you think you would feel like?
Well, clearly not. They look at him. They're like, "Damn, that sucks." Anyway, there's another Tatum off to the free throw line.
Oh my God! I just feel like if you're a referee, you're at halftime. You're like, "Are we okay? Are we doing an okay job or not really?" Because that guy's bleeding pretty bad.
Something? Do you guys think?
I think he's bleeding. By the way, Nuggets got more than doubled up from the foul line. That's just what happens. We have any super chats, Kale?
25.
Sickos. All right. Do we want to set a number here?
What do we? For negative versus positive?
2.5.
I think we're gonna get to positive.
I think we're gonna get.
I think, yeah, dude. Not quite half, but we're gonna get more than you expect. I think.
All right, here we go. Wilson Amott. Jamal is not the issue with this team as long as he plays aggressively. Russ needs to be on the bench in clutch time. Zeke has earned his spot.
I'm counting that as positive. Zeke's earned a spot.
Yeah, Murray's good.
Not the issue. Positive.
2-to-1 positive negative ratio.
I don't know, man. You're doubting somebody that's clearly going to play.
Positive. Bing.
That's
Put
true.
it on the board.
That's true, actually. That makes a good point.
I think that's neutral. Ben Mack, MPJ has a lot to prove in this final stretch. He seems to take himself out of the game and lacks aggression. More Zeke, please.
Positive.
Very negative. Very negative.
Very negative.
This is what he said, please.
Mike desperately needs to play well now in like 3 consecutive tough games. You know, like he's at a 3-game deficit right now of this is a tough physical defense. You have to play well.
If he plays one straight game of positivity,
he'll have great momentum.
The boys' dad was really fun to meet all the fellas today, especially roughhousing with D-line. P.S. Our dad used bad words at the end of the game. How do I say this name? Soglio.
Dude, boys' dad brought in his new pup today. Remind me so much of my dog.
I think
it's my former dog.
And he and I did roughhouse.
Me and Soglio. You and the boys' dad? Oh, you and Soglio.
Well, no, me and the boys' dad got in a tickle fight. But me and Soglio did some roughhousing.
Super cute dog, man.
Nick Trumbo, call me a hater, but as long as Russ is your 6th or 7th guy, there is a hard cap on how far this team can go. Put this in the negative column.
Positive. Called himself out. That's positive.
That was so good.
Also, I think he put this in so early, before we even got to the positive.
Yeah, for sure.
This was early.
So where are we on that one?
We're on no positives.
Okay, fine. We got one. The boys' dad.
Nikola Radovic against Milwaukee, 11 of 28 from the free throw line. Today, 13 of 27. This is horrendous. It's how we lost both games. Plus MPJ and his terrible decision making.
Purely analytic, which I consider positive.
Vladislav, third game Malone bungled. Play well, get benched.
Oh boy, yep. Did you skip past one?
I'm telling you one thing about us. Zeke, Peyton Watson, Jalen Pickett have had the hardest road with Malone. Malone has just not trusted those guys. All three of them. Well, P-Watt has been out for a little bit, but I thought he played well. Those guys look like players now, and I think Malone's a great coach. This is not like this is the defining trait, but it is one thing that I think we have to look at and say Zeke looks like a playable player. Pickett looks like a playable player.
Does Malone's treatment bring it out of them? You have to ask that too. Like he does not.
Like you need to be tougher than that to be able to survive.
Like,
there's something.
Malone wants that from his guys. Like he will tamp down every player and be like, "All right, if you could show me, I'll bring it back."
Except for Julian, somehow just gets to run around.
Well, everybody's hurt. Everyone's hurt.
I'm just saying. It's something to me that is a part of the story that I think is important. And that doesn't mean I think Malone sucks. I just think it's one thing that I disagree with.
Nash, Sweden, no trades booth. DJ as a backup center. Just great.
To be honest, we didn't talk about it. He
stunk.
No, but it's not. I don't think he can play this style. Like they spread you out on the perimeter. He can't just play drops. So he has to be up, and he can't do it. So I think this is an example of a team that would be tough.
A brutal 2 minutes from him in the fourth there. Amin. Malone started Russ, and his first sub was Julian for CB. Zeke only played 8 minutes for his big wings. Took Pickett out for struggling Russ in the fourth quarter.
Bad. He had such a bad game.
It was a bad Malone game.
Pickett was so good in his 3 minutes.
This is the worst. This is Malone's worst game of the season.
Yvonne, MBG 62. When Strawther shoots one leg running floater, two kids give up on playing basketball. He is not Tony Parker. Try a jump shot.
I will say I've always been a floater hater.
You are a floater hater.
It's because it replaces layups. So they're like, oh, it shoots okay. It's not.
It's because you can't get to the rim.
You can't get to the rim.
That was the Gary Harris post hip injury stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Genuinely nice people. All the Nuggets are still good.
Okay, ding.
Let's
positive.
go. Yes.
Don't read anything else. I don't know if it's positive or negative.
I think it is.
Let's get out where we can.
I think it is. Let's go.
We were down to a third option at the 4. Give us AG and P-Watt. We're back, baby.
God.
Fire it up, Kale.
Fire it up, Kale.
Bing, 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 bing.
What are we firing up? What are you firing up in this instance?
We're
Five pepper
Oh,
tape.
the
Maybe he
Nuggets
just
are
loves
good?
when you scream it. Fire it up.
It's our new charge as a fan base. Fire it up, Kale.
Sir Lobo 92. Positive. The team competed great against the favorite. Negative. Only 3 people in the circle of trust. Jokic, Jamal, and
I'm counting
Braun.
that as positive. Started with positive. Bing, 3.
Hey,
Connor Pasica. Every game I fall in love with CB Moore. He's amazing.
he really is,
4.
man.
Bing.
Hey, man, long-term outlook for Denver is great that you got CB. Like, honestly, he's a really good
He's great,
fit.
man.
5-5-5-5-5-5-ish. Got sick this weekend, but
Oh,
we still
man.
continue to grind. 371 minutes and 29 seconds down. Only 183 minutes and 31 seconds until 555 minutes for Zeke Nnaji. 11 a.m. Mountain Time tip-off games need to be banned forever.
I'm not going to lie. Our Zeke countdown, I thought we were going to get 25 minutes out of him tonight. You know what? Like
This
with
was a
no
big
AG.
swing game. This was a big swing
This was a
game.
big. I'm now worried about us hitting our number.
It did.
Also,
killed the countdown.
Next Sunday, 11 a.m. tip-off.
Really? Again?
In
Another one.
OKC, right?
Another one.
Perfect. Yvonne MBG 62. I would trade MPJ for 3 average players who will not be useless on defense. Pickett and Nnaji over Strawther and Russ. At least Pickett is low turnover guy.
Well, he is a
Positive?
low turnover.
Right,
That's,
no,
no,
we're
that's-
holding
wants to be
steady
a
at 4.
GM.
we're at 4 already? Wow.
Kind of. We just make it.
No, 4. Dude.
This is 4 real
He
ones.
put an
Yes, 4
exclamation
real
point.
All right, 4 real ones.
Maddox, are people upset by this loss? Really? Denver is clearly a contending team. They just have to get healthy and get right. This was a very encouraging game.
5.
Count it, baby. By the way, this is my
Bing.
take. Today was a good day for Nuggets, even though they lost. It wasn't a great day, but it was a good one.
Jovan, come on, guys. Season is a waste. We just another Bucks.
Well, I'm going to go take us back down to
Take us
0.
Back down to 0 because that was so negative.
Deeply negative.
I'm just going to keep watching the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to let it play out.
Yvonne MBG 62. Still can't believe how Russ stupidly gambles for steal, and then we are in constant chaos on defense. Stand still, fight through the screen.
Yeah, that was not a positive, not positive, but also
And
not
also not
wrong.
You know, we can play with 2 non-shooters on the floor, but one of those non-shooters needs to be AG or Zeke at the 4. Jokic at least needs a dunker spot option.
I think that's a good take. I think that's correct.
Cedric Exquisite. Hope our roller coaster ride goes up from here.
Hey, there you go, man.
The thing is, if you go up on a roller coaster ride, you know what happens.
It ends.
No, you go down.
Oh, you go down.
It doesn't just stop at the top. You actually have to go down.
We're getting close to overtime, fellas. Maybe we want to
Although
just go
isn't
down.
going down the fun part?
Yeah.
We're
Whatever.
doing overtime now.
Matt Sheehan. What percentage does Christian need to shoot from 3 in the playoffs to make it work? 2 of 8, not great, but season average of 37% will, right? I'm not too worried about it.
I
do think 37% is correct. The problem is the 2 of 8s are tough, man. And they happen to everyone, including good shooters. It just might be zero-sum.
We're under a minute for overtime.
You said the same one twice, thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Sent it twice by accident. Traycon Mourn. Stop blaming Murray. All MPJ needs to step up, period. Murray been playing his ass off. MPJ don't do shit.
I mean, I thought we were pretty positive on Jamal today, but he was bad in the first half. Like, he just wasn't as aggressive enough. If you guys are watching us on our Fast channel, make sure you go catch us online for overtime, which starts now. Everybody, curse as much as you want.
Yeah, fuck yeah, we're back.
All right, we're back.
Post-nut clarity.
Yeah.
That's why I had to do
Yeah.
it.
It's great timing,
I had to
man.
do it right
Great
there.
timing.
The profile picture
You wouldn't have made
combo.
the Fast channel.
Play the bench even if we're not going to win. They need experience playing good teams. We're always trying to win small battles instead of winning the war. Michael Porter, truther. Russ is 40% from the corner and 20% everywhere else. Coaching issue or player IQ issue in terms of positioning. Why not sit him in the corner?
Because he's a ball handler. It's hard to put ball handlers in the corners consistently because usually there's like your secondary action. He's not usually in the
Also, then
spot
he'll
to
shoot
go.
more, and then he won't be at 40%.
I also think they kind of did sit him in the
He
corner
was sitting in the
today.
corner.
Kyle M, hey, D-line.
Hey, what up? Hey,
It's
and
like a
also,
different one every
fuck
time,
you. Just
yeah.
kidding, it's overtime. Glad you're here.
Flacco Watts.
Hell yeah, dude. I love
Just-
Flacco Watts.
I hope that's a real name. Can someone put together a win-loss record based on what jersey they wear? I can't stand the road white.
This is a man that pays real attention.
Yeah, he's got the details.
Yvonne MBG 62. Nuggets better be 3 seed and hope for Clippers in round 2 versus Memphis Golden State Warriors or Memphis Dallas. A lot of luck. We need to avoid Lakers and Minnesota and
we
OKC
don't.
before Western Conference Finals.
I will say this is true every year. There is an easy path and a hard path and a lot in between. So, I mean, I hope they get the easy one. But whatever.
We don't care, dude.
We don't care.
We don't care about anything anymore.
Josh Barnett from Down Under.
We care about Josh.
No more games in Boston until June. God, I hate them.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on what he said?
Until June.
Meeting him in the final.
Danny K. Magicians will study MPJ's disappearing act for centuries.
I doubt they will.
They might.
Guys, what a terrible day that was also kind of good.
I mean, I didn't mind the matinee, to be honest with you, other than the fact that I had no confidence they'd perform in the matinee. I did enjoy waking up and coming in to watch a game. I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed eating a breakfast sandwich while I watched
All right,
them.
quick. Let's do a quick snapshot. 1 to 10. Where are we on the Nuggets?
7.
7.
6.
6. I think I'm going to 7.
6.5.
6.5.
But here's the thing, 7, but like it needs to be 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they can't
yeah.
get over this hump. So that's
They really are leaving us at the altar every time. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just like, will you marry us this time? We're like, totally.
Just teasing
They're
us
like,
the
come
whole
on,
time.
come to Boston. We'll get married. We're like, awesome.
Did we
We're
get
like-
a late buzzer beater?
Yeah, this one came.
Oh, from our homie
Flacco
Flacco
Watts.
Watts.
Did you guys talk about Julian? We did. By the look of his face, he tore something in his knee.
Well,
I hope
we are
not, man.
not. We
I
are
hope
not
not.
going there with
I,
that.
don't, I hope not. He did look like pretty distraught, but you know what? Let's not put that
He
out
looked
there, man.
Strawther.
Let's not put that out there. Hit that outro music. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us on this midday.
on this
time
fucking
slot.
terrible fucking
wanna-
overtime
you-
fucking bullshit.
You know what's terrible? We have to sit in this till Wednesday.
Oh, my
We will
God,
have a
dude.
show tomorrow, though. Off day show. We'll talk about some stuff. We
I
might
just-
even get a practice
I
on
just
Tuesday.
soiled sweatpants.
All the way until Wednesday when the
This is
Sacramento
a
Kings come
nightmare.
into town. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Hit that like button on the way out.
No.
We'll see you.